Welcome back to the Pocket English Podcast. I am Sarah, and I am so happy you decided to spend a few minutes with us today. Whether you are on your morning commute, taking a coffee break, or just relaxing at home, we are here to help your English grow. Today, we have a very special episode because we are going to fix one of the biggest problems I hear when people describe their daily routines.
Hello, everyone. I am Tom, and Sarah is right. We listen to a lot of students, and we notice something interesting. Most of you know the vocabulary. You know the words wake up, eat breakfast, take a shower, and go to work. You have the bricks to build the house, but sometimes when you speak, you sound a little bit like a robot.
Exactly, Tom. Let's show them what we mean. Tom, can you pretend to be a robot for a second? Tell us about your morning routine, but do it the wrong way.
I wake up. I brush my teeth. I eat toast. I drink coffee. I leave the house. I take the bus.
Okay, stop. That was terrible. I mean, the grammar was correct, you used the right verbs, but how did it feel to listen to that?
It felt choppy. It felt dry. It felt like I was just reading a grocery list, not telling a story. There was no flow.
That is the key word, flow. The difference between a beginner and an intermediate speaker isn't always big, fancy words. Sometimes it is just about how you glue the simple words together. Today, we are going to give you 4 specific words that act as the glue for your sentences. These 4 words will turn that robot list into a real, natural conversation.
And before we give you those words, if you want to make sure you never miss a lesson that helps you sound more natural, please take a second to click that subscribe button. It really helps us keep making these episodes for you.
So, let's look at our first 3 glue words. These are what we call sequencers. They tell the listener the order of your story. The first one is very easy. It is simply the word first.
This is your green light. It tells the listener you are starting a story. You don't just say, I woke up at 7. You say, first, I woke up at 7. It prepares my ears to listen to the rest of your list.
Exactly. But you can't say first for everything. You can't say, first I woke up, first I ate, first I left. That does not work. You need a bridge to get to the next action. And the most common bridge in English is the word then.
Then. Then. This is probably the most useful word for storytelling. It just means this happens next. So instead of saying, I shower, I get dressed, you say, first I shower, then I get dressed.
It sounds so much smoother. But Tom, there is a trap here. If you use the word then 5 times in a row, you start to sound repetitive. First I woke up, then I showered, then I ate, then I left, then I worked. It gets boring. So we need a partner for the word then.
Right. The perfect partner is the phrase after that. It means exactly the same thing as then. It just gives your listener some variety. So you can switch back and forth, you use then, and for the next sentence, you use after that.
Let's try to put those 3 together. First, then, and after that. Tom, can you fix your robot introduction from the beginning of the episode using these 3 connectors?
I can try. Okay, here is the human version. First, I wake up around 7. Then, I brush my teeth. After that, I make some toast and coffee. Then, I head out the door.
That was 100 times better. It sounds friendly. It sounds like you are actually talking to me, not just reporting facts.
It feels better to say, too. It gives me a second to think about the next verb while I'm saying the connector. But Sarah, those words connect things that happen one by one. Step 1, step 2, step 3. What happens if I do 2 things at the same time?
That is a great question. Real life is busy. Sometimes we multitask. Maybe you listen to music and you cook dinner at the same time. If you say, first I cook dinner, then I listen to music, that is not true. You are doing them together. For this, we need our 4th and final magic word, while.
While is such a great word for moving from A2 to B1 level. It shows you can handle complex ideas. It connects 2 actions happening in the same moment. The pattern is usually, I do action A while I do action B.
For example, I listen to the Pocket English podcast while I drive to work, or I drink my coffee while I check my emails. Tom, do you have a good example of using while in your morning?
I do. I usually listen to the news while I brush my teeth. It saves time.
That is a perfect example. Notice that Tom did not say, I listen to news during I brush my teeth. That is a common mistake. You want to use while plus the action. While I brush, while I walk, while I eat.
So, we have our 4 glue words. First, then, after that, and while. Now, we want to put this into practice. The best way to learn these is to hear them in a real story. Sarah is going to tell us about her morning routine. I want you to listen carefully. Don't just listen to the verbs. Listen for the connectors. Count how many times she uses them.
Okay, are you ready? Here is my typical Tuesday morning. First, my alarm goes off at 6, but I usually stay in bed for 10 minutes. Then I get up and go to the kitchen. I like to listen to quiet music while I make my tea. After that, I sit by the window to wake up slowly. Then, around 7, I finally get dressed and start my day.
That sounded so relaxing. Did you catch the connectors? She started with first to set the scene. She used then to move to the kitchen. She used while to show us she was making tea and listening to music at the same time. And she used after that to transition to sitting by the window.
Now it is your turn. We're going to do a little speaking lab. This is where you practice building the muscle memory. We call this shadowing. I will say a sentence from my story, and then I will leave a quiet space for you to say it out loud. Try to copy my speed and my melody. Do not sound like a robot. Connect the words. Ready? Here is the first one. First, my alarm goes off at 6. Now you say it.
First, my alarm goes off at 6.
Great. Here is the next one. Listen for the connector. Then, I get up and go to the kitchen.
Then, I get up and go to the kitchen.
Good. Now let's try the multitasking sentence. Watch out for the word while. I listen to music while I make my tea.
I listen to music while I make my tea.
And the last one. After that, I sit by the window.
After that, I sit by the window.
Excellent work. If you are in a public place, maybe you just whispered it, and that is okay. But if you are alone, really try to speak up. Your mouth needs to practice the shape of these sentences.
You might notice that when we use these words, our voice goes up a little bit on the connector. We say first, and then we pause slightly. Or we say after that, and pause. That little pause is powerful. It tells your listener, hey, get ready, the next part of the story is coming. It gives you control over the conversation.
That is a great tip. The pause makes you sound confident. Robots don't pause. Humans pause to breathe and think. So don't rush. Use the connector, take a tiny breath, and then say your verb.
So here is your challenge for today. We want you to use this immediately. The next time you are doing a simple routine, maybe making coffee or getting ready for bed tonight, narrate it in your head using these words.
Don't just think, wash face, brush teeth, sleep.
No, that is the robot way. Think to yourself, first, I am washing my face. Then, I am brushing my teeth. After that, I am going to read my book while I lie in bed.
If you can do that, you are already thinking in English, not just translating words. And that is the secret to fluency.
We hope this short lesson helps you feel a little more human and a little less robotic when you speak English. These 4 small words really do make a massive difference.
Thank you so much for listening to Pocket English Podcast today. If you enjoyed this lesson, please hit the like button so we know to make more episodes like this one. And don't forget to try the challenge tonight.
Keep practicing, keep listening, and let your English grow one pocket-sized episode at a time. See you in the next lesson.
Bye for now.